What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Big Chunky. We are back for another show and tell. This time it's your turn.
Comic book related.
Yay, comic books. It's not video games this time.
Nope.
You are the only person that knows anything about this because you wouldn't tell me what it is before we did this.
Oh, I didn't.
No, I have no idea what this is.
Oh, okay.
From the looks of it, I have an idea. Tell me what it is.
It's a little comic book.
Yeah, it is. I have no idea what it is. Okay.
Not a lot of people do.
No, apparently not.
So in 1993, at the Chicago Comic-Con, Neil Gaiman was the guest of honor. I guess he gave some little speech or whatever.
Yeah.
So I learned all about this week. I've had this since 98 or 99.
Yeah.
In my collection, just sitting around. I bought it for like $2. I didn't know what it was. I just knew that it had Neil Gaiman's signature on it, and I was like, cool.
Saw it after.
He's all right.
Yeah, Neil Gaiman's cool.
Numbered to 2,500, so there's not a lot of them out there. So I learned about this. So in 1993, there was this convention in Chicago. He was the guest of honor. Cool. And I guess if you read some of the stuff in here, it's pretty funny. They got a handful of creators. And Casey, why don't you go ahead and just play with it for a minute?
I'll play with it. Oh my God.
Some cool names in there. Todd McFarlane. There's a cartoon. So basically, this was essentially like a little comic book roast of Neil Gaiman.
So yeah, okay. Mark Buckingham's in here.
So it's pretty cool. Todd McFarlane has a little page, and I think it says something like the real story of how I got Neil Gaiman to draw or to write Spawn #9 or whatever.
17 panels about Neil Gaiman, 9 of which are true.
Yeah. So yeah, you'll see in there Todd McFarlane's like page whatever, 2 or 3. It's pretty early on.
Yeah.
So he has a little page where he's bribing Neil Gaiman. He was like, but you'll get this and you'll get all the credit, whatever. And finally he was like, I'll give you $1 million. And Neil's like, I'm in. So he's basically saying Neil Gaiman certainly has a price, and he was bought. So that one's pretty fun. There's a lot of good stuff in there. So
$1 million.
Yeah, a lot of pretty cool stories and roasted him. There's another one. Mark Buckingham, who's a favorite of ours.
Yeah, I love Mark Buckingham.
There's a young Mark Buckingham back in '93.
What is all this nudity?
I don't know. So he had his page in there is essentially the opposite of, he's calling Neil Gaiman, begging him for work. He's like, are you sure you don't have anything for me? He's like, no man, I don't. And he's like, are you sure or whatever? And then finally he's like, do you remember that it's basically just like, I know this dirty little secret about you. And then Neil's like, yeah, now that you think of it, I do have some work for you. So some pretty cool stories. I think there's a lot of people in there. Scott McCloud, a couple other artists and writers, basically saying, hey, the first time I met Neil, or how we became friends, and personal stories about Neil Gaiman. So it's really cool. I just wanted to bring it because not a lot of people know about it. And again, I've had it for 20 years and basically still didn't know about it. Just sit it down before you mess it up.
Yeah, I tried.
So I got curious. I looked on eBay, and there's a handful, maybe 2 or 3 sold auctions in the last year or so.
And there's only 2,500 of them in the world.
They're going for like 60, 70, $100.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. But
yeah, that's a really weird thing. Like it almost looks like a play bill.
Yeah, it's basically what it was. It was what do they call those?
Program.
The program.
Yeah,
it's essentially a program. But that's what it looks like. So it's an Ashcan comic. But anyway, I thought it was neat, and stuff like this. When you talk about some of the great writers of my generation, the 80s and beyond.
Yeah.
Like he's up there. It's Alan Moore.
Oh yeah.
It's Neil Gaiman. It's Grant Morris and some other guys in more recent years. But like as these people like Neil Gaiman, who's spread across, broken out of comics, and he's known in the, he's written several best-selling novels. He wrote Coraline.
Yeah, I need to read that American Gods over there that I have on my
Good
bookshelf.
Omens just came out.
Yeah, Good Omens. Was that a show?
Yeah,
is that a good one?
American Gods has had season 3 or whatever. So like he's branched out. So people like him who don't write a lot of comics.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot out there to collect. So as they grow older and they stop writing, and then eventually they unfortunately pass and die, whatever. Like this is a very rare piece of comic book history that.
Oh yeah.
So
how did you get this?
I
just bought it?
Yeah, like some dude at a convention. I don't think I paid any more than like $3 for it.
Wow.
And I've almost just thrown it out.
Yeah, don't do that.
Several times.
Do not do that.
It just kind of gets lost.
That's a bad idea.
But it's not lost anymore upon me. I'm thinking about sending it to CBCS and get that signature verified. Throw it in a slab if they do Ashcans and preserve it for all time.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. That's a neat thing. I wonder if they make Does CBCS have different size cases?
They
Because I know that
do.
CGC does magazines as well, don't
Yeah.
they? So they have bigger magazine cases. I wonder if they have something small for something like this. Because you said this was something called an Ashcan.
Yeah.
What is that?
Ash
and are they
cans were
prevalent?
typically, they were very common. I mean, they're still out there. They were very common in the 80s and 90s, and especially the 90s when these new creators would come out, and
Yeah.
it was hard to produce and print a full size comic book if you're trying to get your work out there.
Yeah.
So a lot of times these new issues, the #1 issues, some of the creator owned stuff, they'd have to print these little mini things that they just pass out to people and say,
that's
please,
cool.
please read this, please read this.
Okay.
They gave them away a lot of conventions. Obviously the booths had stacks of ash cans.
I didn't see any. Well, I mean, I didn't really know that those were a thing. So now I guess I know that I should maybe look for
basically
those.
like pilot episodes, little
Those are cool. I
little
like
pilot
that.
episode.
Yeah, if those are a prevalent thing, like a relatively common thing, you'd think that they like these grading companies would have something that would fit that.
Oh, there's plenty of ash cans out there that have collectability and significance. So I'm sure they probably grade them. I think anything smaller than a regular comic book size, they have a way to manipulate the container to make sure it doesn't float around. But I don't think they have one, because these ash cans, I mean, they're anywhere from pocket size to, I mean, this is almost full comic size. So
Yeah, kinda. It's it's not quite there, but it's interesting. It almost looks like it was made out of construction paper.
yeah, like somebody just folded over a piece of construction paper, went to Kinko's.
Just stapled whatever.
And it's probably like that's probably what happened, because this was not just as a giveaway. I mean, they had 2,500 of them. They gave them away at whoever was there. So how many of these just got tossed in the garbage because there wasn't 25? So it's, I don't know how many of these really survive in the wild. There's never been one graded by CGC. So there's
never.
There's not a lot of them.
Really?
So it says 2,500. I would imagine I couldn't imagine there's any more than 1,000
Maybe not
out there floating around.
Yeah.
And in good shape. I don't know. So it went from being an afterthought in my collection to all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's kind of like a talk piece, because
Absolutely.
like no one has that.
No one. I think my buddy Joe's got one, because I thought we both bought one for a couple bucks each.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So that's my historical piece, my very rare, maybe the rarest of Neil Gaiman comics, maybe.
Is it a Neil Gaiman comic? Because he didn't do anything, did he?
It is literally called Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, but it's not a comic done by Neil Gaiman. He didn't do anything.
He did the back
He
cover.
did the self-portrait in the back.
The back cover. Yeah.
Let's show the audience.
Not bad. Not bad for a writer.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than what I could do.
So yeah, that was his only contribution other than existing.
Yeah.
In the first place.
Yeah,
so anyway, cool piece.
I like it.
Nice rare comic.
I can't believe you didn't show me this before, but I guess since it was not a thing that you even thought was worth a shit.
Nope. It was just cool because I had his autograph on it.
Yeah, I'm glad you have it. It'd be cool to send it to CBCS and have it hanging up on your wall whenever you build a room.
Whatever.
For your nerd stuff, like My Great Basement.
If I do, I'll bring it in. We'll have a little follow-up.
Yeah, that'd be cool. All right.
So that's it?
Yeah, cool. Well, let us know what you think about this Neil Gaiman. What was Ashcan?
Ashcan.
Ashcan.
I think the official term is Neil Gaiman Guest of Honor.
Neil Gaiman Guest of Honor Ashcan. It's interesting. I like it a whole lot. Let us know what you think about it. And, of course, leave the video a like if you liked it. Dislike it if you didn't. And subscribe for more content like this. Not only like this, but some like this.
Like all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. And we'll see you on the next one.